Hey there, Ariel here with Small Yard Flowers. We're a small urban flower farm in Portland, Oregon, and we're here to talk about pruning roses today. So first off, you need a few tools. You need a few different kind of pruners. I like to use these sharp ones here, these kind of needle nose type, and then bigger pruners like this for the bigger wood and the dead wood. And if you're working with a really old or big bush, you might need a pair of loppers, but we don't need those today. Don't forget, you need your bucket to put all your clippings in so you can put everything into the yard waste bin. So here at Small Yard we grow roses for cut flowers, meaning we want good stem length, large blooms, healthy blooms. So we like to cut our roses pretty close to the ground, about a foot off the ground. If you're working with shrub roses in your yard that you just want a lot of beautiful blooms, you can hedge those, you can cut them higher. Usually you could cut a plant down 1/3 of its total height, and that's totally fine. Just know that sometimes you'll get more flowers but a little bit weaker stem length. So here we're going to prune for cut flowers. We need to first cut it down. We need to cut out old wood and dead wood. And then we need to cut down stems above outward facing buds, and also cut stems and growth that is smaller than a pencil. Well, we're going to start with these few bushes here, so let's get cracking. First off, we're just going to take off some height off the bush just by cutting down like this. You don't have to be exact. Now remember, it's February here in Portland, and this is when we like to do our pruning. We don't want to prune much earlier than that because we could still get really cold weather and new growth could get damaged and diseased. So we like to do that in late winter, getting ready for spring. All right, so we've cut it down just a little bit to get the tall canes out of the way, and now we're going to cut out old dead growth. Old growth and dead growth is going to look black and dark or light brown. You can see we've got some black parts here, over here. So we want to cut all of that out. Help for you to pull away some of the mulch if you have it down there, just so it exposes some of the growth underneath, because there might be some dead old stuff under there. So I'm going to push this away. We like to mulch a lot on our roses in the fall. Keeps them nice and cozy over the winter. All right, so let's cut some dead growth out of here. All right, we got that. Let's make sure everything goes in our bin. We don't want those staying on the ground. And when you cut out the old growth, cut it all the way back to the healthy stem that it's attached to. Sometimes that old growth is underneath the soil level. You can get down there and just cut it out as well. So now I'm going to go in there and prune anything that's smaller than a pencil. We do that here because small growth like this, that's thin. I'll show you. Thin like this, it's not going to put on a very good, healthy, nice sized rose. So we get rid of that, so all the rest of the energy in the bush can put towards making good growth off of healthy canes. And we're going to cut it all the way down to where it meets a larger cane. And we're going to cut out any stems that seem to be crossing other stems. Anything that could rub in the wind and create a callus, which can invite disease. So I'm going to cut that out. Cut this here. This is pretty thin. I'm going to cut that out too. I'm going to actually cut it all the way down here to where it's not as thin. Now we want to focus on doing nice, sharp, 45-degree angle cuts above bud eyes. Bud eyes are these little eyes on the canes where leaves or new growth, new leaves and new stems start to sprout. You can actually see right here, there's one growing right now. So we want to find the ones that are facing outwards from the bush, mostly because we want there to be airflow inside the bush and we don't want canes to grow inwards and touch each other and rub. We want things to grow outwards. So I'm going to go around and cut down to a bud eye facing outwards. We've pretty much cut everything back done everything we should to this rose. You can see it's a lot more minimal than it was when we started. You can see some are shorter than others, and that's totally fine. It's going to put on some really good growth. So don't be afraid to get in there. Cut it back. Know that the stronger, heavier cutting you do, the more vigorous growth it's going to put on in the spring and in May. Just remember, you can't over prune a rose. Roses really do like to be cut down. It's probably better for them to be over pruned than it is under pruned or not pruned at all. So this kind of pruning is great for a lot of different kinds of roses. Hybrid tea roses, floribundas, grandifloras, even David Austin shrub roses. You can do this to them and they're going to really enjoy it. When it comes to climbing roses, that's a different story and that's a different episode for later. We've made this plant look pretty good. I'm going to tuck it back in. And when it starts to put on growth in the spring, I'm going to give it some good liquid fertilizer, organic seaweed and kelp and things like that, and it'll look really good. So now that you've pruned your rose, remember to put your tools away and clean them first. Make sure you throw your clippings out in the yard debris bin, and then enjoy your day. For us, we've got another 100 roses here on this property to prune and another 100 down the street, so we've got our work cut out for us today. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.